8 months ago, I stood on an iceberg in the middle of the Arctic Ocean. Standing there, I felt really small, and I realized one could sail or walk for weeks without seeing another soul. Standing on this melting iceberg with many more icebergs drifting down from the north, I realized this is the ideal place and opportunity to aim to push beyond my personal boundaries. So I decided I'll do an ice swim. Swim 1 mile in water colder than 5 degrees, wearing only my swimming costume. So a lot of you will ask, is this such a difficult thing to do? So let me tell you. Before I dive in, I begin to take slow and deep breaths, preparing my body for the shock that's to come. I dive in. My hands and feet start paining instantly from the cold. But this doesn't last very long, as everything just goes numb. Then, all of a sudden, your mind gets jerked back to reality by the feeling of your fingers swelling up and feels like sausages. This is where your power of the mind comes in. You have to swim fast enough to spend the least amount of time as possible in the water, but not too fast to have enough energy to keep your body warm. So, a lot of people ask, why would I do this to myself? Well, the answer is quite simple. To show myself and others what we are capable of. It takes a lot of physical and mental preparation, and sometimes we have to do things that we don't want to do, like maybe standing in front of the whole waterfront in a speedo to get into an ice bath. Recently, I also swam in Patagonia. So, how did I end up in the Arctic? Well, my role model is a fellow South African explorer, Mike Horn. He traversed the whole Amazon River, walked around the Arctic Circle for 2.5 years, and circumnavigated the equator. All of this by only manpower, and he started the Young Explorers program, selecting youths from all over the world to go and explore the natural world, learning about the problems we face and how we can act to change things for the better. He's the type of person that will say, we are aiming for that mountaintop, and nothing will stop us in reaching our aim. I was fortunate enough to go and explore Baffin Island, the home of the Inuit, or as most people know, the Eskimos. While I was there, I learned a couple of things about the environment, but mostly about myself and how Africa is in me. We did some tests about how the climate change is affecting the permafrost, and also it was really sad to realize that even in one of the remotest places on Earth, that the youth struggle with unhealthy lifestyles, drugs, and alcohol abuse. So how did Africa and me help me during this expedition? Well, I believe South Africans have tremendous spirit. If you use it as an acronym, it stands for self-confidence, a positive attitude, imagination, resilience, initiative, and teamwork. As a nation, we've overcome huge differences in our history. In so, we've gained massive amounts of confidence in our abilities. We have the self-confidence to take that leap of faith, trusting yourself, and to tackle obstacles in our way. I must add, 2 months before this photo was taken, I didn't have any knowledge in big wall climbing or the equipment involved, and I had to learn this in a very short time span. We have the self-confidence to face our fears. My fear is I'm afraid of heights. And having to sleep 200 meters up a vertical wall, having to put all your faith and trust into your teammates and that one bolt into the wall. But in the end, with the right positive attitude and the mental attitude, I came to embrace this feeling, and I realized how fortunate I was to sleep here and experience the most breathtaking sunset above the clouds. South Africans have a positive attitude. By this I mean, when the going gets tough, South Africans will always find time for a good joke. And it was really strange for me when I realized when the Inuit thought this guy with the unusual to them blonde hair is like their version of the Tokoloshi. All he can do is laugh. We have imagination, like Mike Horn once said. The impossible only exists until we find a way to make it possible. Because we mostly struggle to get what we want, I found we have the courage and strength to really go out and chase our dreams to achieve what we want. We have resilience. By this I mean, when facing a tough time, South Africans know we will come out a better and stronger person at the end. For example, when all my gear was confiscated by US Customs, I ended up in the Arctic with one set of clothes for 2 weeks and having to wear boots that's 2 sizes too big. getting blisters the size of golf balls. But despite this, I really did enjoy every moment of every single day. We have initiative. We've all heard the saying, 'n boer maak 'n plan. Well, I think this applies to all South Africans. When we did the big wall climb, the problem came around, how are we going to cook for 18 people 200 meters on a vertical cliff? The answer is very simple. Just pull up a gas grill, and then make some boerewors rolls. Certainly the most extreme braai I've ever had. South Africans do well in teamwork. As a nation, we've learned to give and take, lead but also follow when needed, and to respect each other's traditions and languages. When we're crossing crevasse field, everyone is attached to one rope. It feels like the person in front of you is pulling you off balance, and you have to pull the person behind you up this flipping mountain. And then you have to communicate with each other. There's French, Polish, Chinese, Spanish, but this is where I found South Africans excel. And it's because of this great African spirit that I say I'm proudly South African. The grass isn't always greener on the other side. We have such a beautiful, rich and diverse country. As the great Nelson Mandela once said, there's nothing like returning to a place that remains unchanged to find in which the ways you yourself have altered. We have a very special African Ubuntu, to clean up our act, to share with others, and to be proud of the Africa in all of us. Having had the chance to explore a country on the other side of the globe, this certainly changed my perspective of life and living in South Africa. So my advice to you is, set yourself a reasonable aim. And then, sometimes it's necessary to look back. Look at the mistakes you've made. And then, also be proud of what you've achieved so far. And then, aim even higher. Aim for the top. The rewards will be amazing.